Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar about chemical management and how we can do that also together with Clean Chain. So my name is Karin Ekberg, and I'm the CEO of Leadership and Sustainability. And I'm really pleased to announce our partnership together with ADEC to work together with a Clean Chain solution for your ZTC in-check verifications. And Ramya, if you would like to go to the next slide, please. So yes, so my name is Karin Ekberg and I'm the CEO of Leadership and Sustainability. And with us here today, we also have, Ramya, could you please move the, we also have Ramya Kandior, who is our Sustainability Director in India and heading up the Indian business together with two other team members. And Ramya is also a chemical specialist and a ZTC trainer and a long friend of ZTC. And Sandra Teixeira is our senior supply chain manager. She's based in the team. She's based in Portugal, but is based in the team in Germany. And finally, we also have Vishal here today. And Vishal is our supplier success manager at ADEC Innovations. And so he's our partner. And Ramya, could you please move forward? So after this welcome from us, I would also like to say something about us, but first let us go through the agenda. So we will give you an introduction about leadership and sustainability very briefly, and then we will show you an overview of the ZTC in-check. We will talk through the technical requirements and speak also about the verification process. And then we will be speaking about our partnership together with Clean Chain. And we are really proud and happy about this partnership. We will also have some time for questions and answers before we close this webinar. So leadership and sustainability, we are a company, we actually will celebrate our 10 years anniversary this year. And we have a team of around 80 people globally, and they are well distributed over many countries. Our headquarters is in Germany, but we have offices also in Bangladesh, in India, in Vietnam and Turkey, and teams in many other countries as well. And Ramya, if you would like to move forward, please. So I would just like to focus here about what our supply chain services are. So we work a lot with the Cascale tools, all their tools. So the SLCP or the HIG FSLM, the HIG FEM, the facility data management, the FDM. We are also new to cradle to cradle. So we are now cradle to cradle assessors. And furthermore, we work together with Cascale on the MCAP program, the Manufacturers Climate Action Program. And regarding and related to chemicals management, audits and trainings, we are a long-standing partner with ZTC with the Zero Discharge of Hazardous Chemicals program. So we are in-check verifiers. We also conduct the supplier to zero reviews, and we have our partnership with Clean Chain. And we furthermore also support brands and retailers, but also manufacturing groups to conduct audit evaluations, develop supplier scorecards, develop supplier handbooks. And here at the bottom, you can also see where we have trainers and verifiers in several of these countries, but we are also available to support you in other countries as needed. And with that, I would like to hand over to Ramya. Please, Ramya.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone from all of our team members. And we go into first the overview of the ZDHC in-check. So all of you are aware of what ZDHC is. ZDHC has been advocating chemicals management in its input, process, and output management. And it is basically a comprehensive tool that's designed to promote safe chemical management practices within the textile, apparel, and footwear industries. It follows of course, the sequence that's suggested by ZDHC with its input process and output model. It aims to provide supply chain transparency, basically ensuring alignment with ZDHC MRSL and facilitating the transition towards cleaner production processes. So, by streamlining your chemical data from suppliers, brands, and facilities, so the ZDHC in-check simplifies the chemical compliance and tracking and promotes the adoption of safer chemical alternatives. As a part of the ZDHC Gateway program, it integrates seamlessly into the sustainability frameworks, so, something like HIG, FEM, or also even, for example, BEPI, etc., helping facilities achieve and maintain compliance with global standards. So, in summary, the ZDHC InCheck is an essential resource for companies aiming to align with sustainable production practices, and it supports the reduction of hazardous chemical usage and fosters accountability within the supply chain. With that, let's take a look at what are some of the objectives of the ZDHC InCheck. Mainly, it is to understand the status of the chemical products in the supplier's chemical inventory for registration onto the ZDHC gateway. And we would like basically to understand how much percentage of the inventory is complying with the MRSL requirements which ZDHC has brought about. So we have understood that ZDHC MRSL is a list which has been checked to understand what are the hazardous chemicals and what should not be available in your inventory. So the moment we are maintaining the inventory in accordance with ZDHC requirements, we are in a position to understand how much percentage is complying with MRSL requirements, basically from the gateway, and we are in a position to declare this inventory or show transparency with the inventory with all of the stakeholders. And with this, we can improve the number of chemical products that is published on the gateway as well, and improve the overall ZDHC conformance level at the facilities end. The applicability for the performance in check is basically for those industries where MRSL is in scope, and it is not applicable to those industries where MRSL is out of scope. For example, for fiber manufacturers, etc. Let's take a look, a deep dive, basically into the technical requirements that are required when a supplier wishes to declare his inventory. So we've talked about the inventory, and when we're talking about the inventory, there are a total of three different slides which we are expected to be three different documents which we are expected to be aware of. The first one is the ZDHC in-check solutions. So this explains the objective of the in-check, the frameworks around the concept, and the types of verifications which are possible. And then you have the ZDHC performance in check guidelines. This is a self-declared assessment which we can publish. And this document here talks or standardizes the requirements for the generation of a performance in check report by suppliers. And it will help you to list all of the chemicals in your inventory in an organized manner, and check its conformance with the MRSL requirements. And then we have the ZDHC verified in check. This gives the process followed for the verification of the in check. So these are the three main documents which we are required to be aware of when it comes to inventory requirements. Coming to the in check process, the process here is as follows. So the supplier creates the ZDHC account first via the invitation link. And at this stage, I would in fact like to ask if all of us who are available here can quickly do a short poll for us. Let me just initiate this poll. Great. Please do engage with the poll, and I will end and show the results very soon as the slide is explained. So the supplier basically is able to create the ZDHC inventory account or the gateway account via the invitation link. So this he can request for ZDHC link, or the brand can give this to him. The supplier then selects solution provider on the implementation hub website. This is because in order to declare the inventory, you have to take a tool, something like a clean chain tool, with the help of which you're going to be able to declare your inventory. So supplier creates this account on the solution provider tool and selects the in-check option. He then uploads the chemical inventory on the solution provider tool, and he can then uh, declare his performance in check report. So this is delivered via the solution provider tool of the to the supplier. And this can be done both in PDF as well as in Excel, and it is stored in the ZDHC Gateway supplier account. Then you can report this to the brands that you are working with as to what is the chemical inventory that is available with the supplier. So the supplier can request for the verification directly from the Clean Chain platform also, and select leadership and sustainability as its verifying body. So this is a new feature which is available, and Vishal will be talking more about this. But basically, once the performance in check is available, so long as you want to choose for verification, you can go in and choose the verifying body as well online. So let me take a look at the poll so as to understand how much. Great. A lot of participants have put in their responses. I will now end and share the results from the poll so that it's visible. So the first question in the poll was, do you generate a ZDHC performance in check report? And here we could see that 30% have mentioned that they do use Clean Chain for their in check. 23% have opted to say that they use another platform for in check. And 17% have opted that they will create an in-check in future. And 30% don't generate a performance in-check report as yet. Okay, and when we look at the second question, are you looking for an in-check verification in the future? We intend to go for verification in the next 3 months. That's only 2%. In the next 6 months, that's about 29%. 40% are not sure if they will undertake a verification, and 29% indicated that they don't intend to go for a verification in this year, which is fine, of course. I mean, you can always look at when you would like to go in for your verification, and this does, of course, give us an idea of the audience. Thanks so much for participating in this poll. And like I said, this is the general process that can be followed when you want to go in for the in check and when you want to undertake one. Let's take a look at what is the performance in check frequency that we need to follow. So suppliers who have started the journey, ideally it would be once in a month that you would be required to generate this in check. And for suppliers with a very high level of CIL listing on the gateway, like 98% of your chemicals are already listed on the gateway and you're using only compliant chemicals, you are basically aligned with the brand requirements, then for those type of facilities, once or twice in a year, after the verified in-check report exercise and completion of corrective actions, etc., is when you can update your inventory. So these are the time scales that are generally recommended for the supplier. And we have now talked so far about the performance in check and what we need to do to declare the inventory. So, declaration of this inventory is generally a self declared inventory. And when it comes to any type of self declaration, we always understand that if you have a verification, then of course, there are a lot of benefits for the verification. You are ensuring accuracy and reliability of your data. You are looking into compliance and risk mitigation as well. And you are building trust and credibility when you're having a verified data. And that's why in verification of a data is quite important. So coming to the performance in check report, this is generally the self-declared report by the supplier. It enables the supplier to monitor the chemical inventory and its conformance with ZDHC MRSL. The verified in check can be in two levels. It can be level one, where you are creating credibility for your inventory data with the performance in check declaration, with associating it with a third party. You're establishing transparency through on site spot checks that are done by a third party verifier at the supplier end. In the verified in check level 2, you are able to review the completeness of the performance in check, that this is a full review which happens in level 2. And here you create a baseline for the suppliers to track sustainable chemical management. Now, this verified in check level 2 is not yet developed by ZDHC. It is currently under development. So all the verifications which happen at the different suppliers is a level 1 verification, which is just a spot check. Even when it comes to spot check, there are different types of spot checks which we are expected to be aware of. And that's what we talk about in this next slide. So, type 1 process is where if the supplier has less than 30 chemicals in all of the three in check reports that he has generated, then he goes in for a type 1 process of verification. So the verifiers are expected to check all chemicals that are present at the facility, or that the document proof exists of the usage of that particular chemical. The type 2 chemical is basically when you have more than 30 chemicals in at least one of your in-check reports, then you go in for a type 2 process. The verifier is expected to select one of the inventory which is uploaded by the supplier and conduct a facility walkthrough based on the ZDHC checklist. And this is the criteria. So your pass mark is 80%. A score of 80% or more is means that the review is successful, and a maximum deviation of 20% is allowed against the observed data. So this is the methodology or followed, or this is the criteria that's followed for the verification process. Coming to the applicability, of course, this you have the applicability when it is less than 30 chemicals, then it is a type 1 process. And when it is more than 30 chemicals, then it is a type 2 process. The number of checkpoints that are there is just one when it is less than 30 chemicals. And the checkpoint is basically within the main store or the sub-store in a type 1 process. In a type 2 process, however, you have a number of different checkpoints which can be looked into, and each checkpoint carries different weightage, and based on that your final scoring is then established. So what's a successful verification? It is if you have more than 80%, that is there is no deviation of more than 20% from your actual checklist. That is when you have a verified score and when you can be issued a in-check verification. So these are the parameters. So all of the chemical products in the inventory have to be uploaded, and you have to publish three minimum reports on the performance in check tool that you have selected. And this should be shown to the verification body. And each chemical has 1 point, and it could be either the main or the sub-store which can be checked for the criteria. And it's the documents related to the purchase, delivery, and the use of the chemical that should be available for the verifier for checking. And in case this chemical is not on site, it should be there should be a documented proof that it has been used in the facility in that particular month in the form of a usage inventory, or that it has been purchased in that month for a delivery type of inventory. So this is what is expected when it comes to establishing that a particular chemical has been used in this in the facility. Let's now look at what happens with the implication. So you have done your performance in check, you have done your verification. So what is the implication for the supplier? So you will see in your gateway account, in your supplier account, you will be able to see this particular change in the notation for your facility. So this is when you have only performance in check. The first logo is only when you have the performance in check. And the second logo is when you have the verified in check. So this is the implication. So I hope this has been we have been able to give you a good overview of the actual in check and the implication. And let's now go on to the partnership with Clean Chain, which we do want to announce. And I would like to check with my colleague Sandra here to take this forward from here. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Ramya, for your wonderful presentation. And hello, everyone, from my side. Nice, and thank you for being present at this session. So this section is really to give you more insights regarding leadership and sustainability partnership with Clean Chain, and as well its benefits. Next slide, please. So regarding our collaborative services with CDHC, leadership and sustainability, with the chemical inventory verification services, in-check verification, and our partnership with Clean Chain, that is an approved solution provider for in-check generation. Next slide, please. So regarding generating the in-check reports with Clean Chain and its benefits towards the chemical inventory management, so suppliers can upload and maintain their chemical inventories with Clean Chain, ensuring up-to-date records. Also regarding integration with ZDHC Gateway, so Clean Chain connects with the ZDHC Gateway, allowing for a seamless access to ZDHC chemical module and their extensive product library. As well, with the performance monitoring, Clean Chain offers a tool that tracks chemical usage, manage the safety data sheets, and overall monitor of the chemical compliance towards dashboards and scorecards. Next slide, please. Also, our current service, leadership and sustainability with ZDHC, we offer ZDHC trainings as well, in-check verifications, and also supply to zero level 1 and 3 verifications are in our list of services. Next slide, please, Ramya. And here we can see our local team of experts where we are located in more detail regarding the number of in-check verifiers, supply to zero, and trainers. Next slide, please. And finally, we have our global team here and our contacts. We can see our contact for our website, also the mail for Karin, Ramya, myself, and also Julia that is here also today to support us. So I don't know if you would like to show yourself, Julia, also here, and thank you for being present at this session. And this being said, is now time to hand over to Vishal, that will give us more insight about Clean Chain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra and Julia. So if I may start from my side. So just checking if my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can
it
see
is.
your screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So thank you. First of all, Leadership and Sustainability team, thank you, Karin, for inviting me as well to share more about Clean Chain. So I will cover in today's session. So I'm looking really the top level information. What is clean chain? Introduction about the just chemical module, how the platform works, and then there are some updates with regards to the partnership as well, and for platform updates. So I'll cover some of that. Then we'll look at some of the frequently asked questions. So I know Ramia did mention in one of the slides the verified in-check or the performance in-check logos, etc. So I'll look at to cover those as well. Just briefly for ADIC, ADIC offers a comprehensive sustainability and ESG solution for companies. For some of you, those who have, and I see on the poll earlier ran by Ramya, is number of people already using CleanChain. That's good to see. For others, I think you might notice, and for those as well, there's a different, you see the similarity between the ZDC gateway and the CleanChain platform. So this is also due to ADEC Innovations is the one who has built the ZDC gateway, but ADEC has various different services, and CleanChain, now looking at here, it's part of one of the brand within ADEC Innovations. So for CleanChain, and Sandra did mention we are one of the approved solution providers. So we, CleanChain, as a brand, we stand proudly for trusted solution provider for ZDC in-check. What you see here, it's just a glimpse of brands, those who we work with closely in, whether it's in Europe or different parts of the world. With regards to suppliers, we just currently look at, we have 2,200 plus suppliers that use CleanChain worldwide. And we have a team that offers support in multiple languages, whether it's English, Chinese, Hindi, Spanish, German, Filipino, etc. And what we said earlier with regards to the ADIC and CleanChain and the ZDSC, so there is a similarity is what you will see. And that is what really facilitate the seamless integration between the gateway and the CleanChain. So for in-check report generation, there's a straightforward process, which I will cover in the slides to come as well. Modules wise, from a CleanChain, we offer various modules, but for today's session, I'm only going to look at, it's quite detailed slide, not going to cover every single aspect from here, but chemical module is the one which really simplifies that chemical data. So your chemical inventory or input data, and that allows brands, suppliers to easily track and assess the chemicals used in that manufacturing process. Then the water compliance and action modules are additional, depending on the brand or supplier's requirement, depending on the company's requirements. So with regards to platform, it offers a wide range of features to simplify that chemical data, what I was looking at, what I was mentioning earlier. The first is actually the integration. So CleanChain has a integration with the gateway, which allows the centralized data management between the two platforms. The second one we look at is the for those who are already using or already are on the ZDSC gateway, you will know ZDSC PID is a product ID, for example. So when a formulator uploads ZDSC MRSL level 1 to 3 product, they get a product ID given. So between the platforms, obviously, we have the unique identifications. When the upload is done of the chemical, that happens within the CleanChain platform, so the identification is easier. And what it also does, it maintains the accuracy, which ZDSC also aims to achieve as well. And we look at to provide that support if a matching isn't happening with regards to your chemical inventory list upload. Template, I will share a glimpse of template as well, how it looks like. And it's quite simple template wise. with regards to generate the in-check report. And because of the integration between the ZDC gateway and the clean chain, the in-check reports get generated timely. So the moment you actually upload and edit or amend the chemical data, at the same time, instantly in-check report can be generated. So you don't have to wait for hours or days to get that in-check report PDF generated. For platform, this is quite often we get asked for the safety data sheet, and it is also required for a number of brands, and we know for suppliers from the safety data sheet to get the CAS or EC numbers and also the compositions. So we have also within the platform multilingual safety data sheet upload tool. So if you have a safety data sheet in, for example, in Bangla, Chinese, Turkish, whichever that language, it can be uploaded and you can get the report back from that STS, which tool will identify if there are any, let's say the product meets the ZDSC MRSL conformance requirement or with other standards such as VOC, US EPA. So you will get the report back with the CAS numbers extracted from the ZDS, the SDS as well. In-check report, we've seen Ramya mentioning the process. So that's how those who aren't generating the in-check report or those who are planning this, how it looks like. With regards to standard, Clean Chain platform does provide multiple standards. What we see on the screen, and platform does offer the technical reports in terms of a detailed analysis of your product conformance and to really identify non-conformant chemical formulations, for example. Platform, it does gives you data as well in terms of restricted products, depending on ZDS MRSL or other regulations as well. So this is an important update for those who are using Clean Chain and those who are generating in-check report via any solution provider, because from first or from 2nd of January this year, there are some changes in the ZDSC for PID. So I'll mention that as well, what those changes are. And for our partnership, obviously, we have seen Sandra highlighted the partnership between Leadership Sustainability and Clean Chain. So we're proud to be working with the ZDC approved certifiers, and that with this, we now offering the comprehensive end-to-end solution to the clients. So our partnership with Leadership Sustainability is really to provide these services. Recently, we have, so you can see here, those who are looking to obtain verified in-check. If you are using Clean Chain or if you're not using, that can be obtained now. We have released some updated version of the technical report with new graphics definitions. So that can be accessed on the Clean Chain platform. MSDS or the STS I was mentioning earlier. So you can look at that multilingual tool. And then we have received in the past, and we do get every now and then requests for other regulations as well. So we have dashboards which will then support you in terms of your regulations need apart from the ZDSC's requirements. So if you're looking for instance, the US EPC or US EPA, you can actually get that data via Clean Chain as well. And the update which I was talking about, so product searches on the ZDC gateway are or will be limited to using either the ZDC product ID, PID number, or the formulator name. And this change is applicable to all the approved solution provider, including Clean Chain. So we have made some changes this month on the platform to support the monthly inventory upload. So there's a guidance already published as well in the Learning Center. And I believe, Ramya, the slides or the details will be shared afterwards. So there is a link as well with the new steps. And if you are already on the clean chain, you will see in the new sort of section what those changes are, and you can review the steps as well. Just quickly covering on the CIL, the chemical inventory list upload. What I mentioned earlier, it's a straightforward process on the clean chain. If you have joined or using, when you go to the inventory from the left-hand side of the tab, you can click on the add new inventory. Once you do that, you get 4 options to upload your chemicals. You can do one by one, not preferred way. Excel is most commonly used if you are new, for instance, but for existing, if you have a last month's intake report, whether it's 100 chemicals or 200 or 50, we have found out that copy existing is the one widely used, because what it does, it automatically copies your previous month's inventory, all the 200 chemicals, for instance. All you have to do then is to edit the quantity. If you do select Excel, that's how it looks like. So you can download the template. You only need to enter 4 fields, which is the product name. What is that chemical product? Formulator or the chemical supplier. Then the quantity, whether it's 100, and then units, kilograms or lbs. And then data can be uploaded back to the platform to get the in-check report. Now, I'll jump to the common frequently asked questions that we get from various companies, whether it's a brand or suppliers. First, which is quite common actually, is how can I remove non-production chemicals? So Ramya mentioned the 3 guidance documents in one of the slides earlier. One of that was the performance in check guideline. So within that guideline, you can see which are the non-production chemical, for example. And Clean Chain allows that option. So when you are uploading the inventory, you can remove those chemicals from the final in-check report. How to do that? These are just the steps. Some edits actually you need to do on the profile section. Once you do that, any inventory which you are editing or which you're going to complete, you will have this box. What it does, by ticking that, for example, if this chemical isn't being used for production, so non-production is, for instance, if you're using any chemicals for floor cleaning, grease, for example. So there is a list of chemicals provided from the ZDSC side as well. We recommend uploading all the type of chemicals which you are using, and if they are non-production, these are separate than the base chemicals or commodity chemicals. Commodity chemicals as well, we recommend uploading those because Clean Chain platform detects it automatically, wherein then these can be and these get removed automatically from the in-check report when the report is generated. The other feature within the Clean Chain platform is before you generate the in-check report, you are able to do your conformance against the ZDS CMRSL levels. So this is how the view looks like when you upload the Excel file or when you copy previous inventory or edit products. You can see the product level, the ZDSC level of that particular product, and the certificate. If it doesn't have, obviously you can see none. And if that's a commodity, it gets detected automatically. If it doesn't, there's option to set that as a commodity as well. So these are the features, and you can see here the conformance percentage is being displayed. Moving to the technical report. So technical report, this is how it looks like. So that's a new version of technical report with new graphics, clear definition, and the interpretation of how that report can be reviewed. Because of the time today, I will not necessarily cover detailed section. But if there are any specific questions, we're happy to take that as well afterwards. Just the top level, more granular details from the technical report. You can see the definitions, etc., and then the different conformance percentage as well from the technical reports. And what I was mentioning earlier in the update if there are any non-conformant products, or for instance, the SDS you have uploaded doesn't have the concentration, or let's say of substances, doesn't get found, you can see that in the technical report. If a CAS number is missing from the SDS or that product, it will also be displayed in the technical report. So that's the technical report. How to download it? Obviously, it's just, again, this is applicable for existing ones, but if you are new and once you join, it's a straightforward. We have a steps highlighted on the learning center. And if there is any sort of specific queries in terms of which type of reports gets, let's say, generated. So in Ramia's slide for ZDSC in-check report, you can do consumption, which is the usage, and delivery, the amount of chemicals you have, let's say, got delivered in the last month. So those are the two type of in-check reports, and the same goes for technical report as well. Everyone for joining as well. So I hope I have given the information with regards to clean chain, and I think now